Hey everyone, I'm a big game collector and today we are going to start talking about some PlayStation 3 games. I have a bunch of them. I love the PlayStation 3. I've been collecting for the PlayStation 3 for more than 10 years and I have more than 300 games now. I have some rare ones, some interesting ones, some crazy ones, some, well, you would say valuable ones. So let's get on with the first couple of games, and these are the James Bond games for the PlayStation 3. Not all of them, because I also have GoldenEye, and we are going to go alphabetically through the games. I'm going to give you a little bit of some knowledge behind these games. So this one is the first one, Quantum of Solace. It's of course based on the movie. It's kind of like a cover shooter. Of course, it's with Daniel Craig. It's a neat game, although you can feel it's a really early PlayStation 3 title. It's also a cross-platform one. It came out on the PlayStation 2, and this is from the time where Activision was doing the Bond games. They did it until another game called 007 Legends, but between the two games there was Bloodstone, and this is the one that's not based on any movies. Actually, a funny story behind the game, behind the scenes of the game, that this photo was actually a behind the scenes photo from one of the James Bond movie shootings, and then they liked the picture so much that they made it the cover of this title. I haven't played this yet. Of course, this is a huge upgrade, and EA was making these games. And then there is 007 Legends, which is the last Activision made James Bond games, and it's been like 12 years or 13 years since it came out. This one is kind of weird. It's basically from a bunch of different James Bond movies, so it's not specifically tied to one of the movies, but certain scenes and missions from those games, they are not with their original actors. So like Die Another Day is a Pierce Brosnan movie, and Goldfinger. I'm not really up to date in my James Bond knowledge, but it also has some free Skyfall DLC, and you can still download the Skyfall DLC. And I urge you to hurry because a bunch of games are getting erased from the PlayStation Store, but you can still download these exclusive stuff from the Skyfall movie. These are pretty neat. I have most of the James Bond games on like PlayStation 1, 2, and 3. And of course, I'm a bit excited about the new one. It's coming out later this year, maybe, or next year. It has been announced that the Hitman team is making some James Bond games. So, that's pretty neat. So this one is an uncommon game. I wouldn't call it really like rare or something, but it's not really easy to get. And this game is also only on PlayStation 3, so it lives and dies on the platform. This is 3D Dot Game Heroes. It's basically Zelda. It's a Zelda clone, like a classic 2D Zelda with all the dungeons and different stuff. The interesting thing about it is that it was made by From Software and Silicon Studio, published by Atlas at least in North America. I have a US copy, and this is just a great game. You can customize your pixelated hero. This has like voxel graphics. It actually predates Minecraft, I think. I mean, its release. And it's really cool, like this pixelated brick design, and it's a fun little title. It's the closest anyone got on these platforms to an actual Zelda game that's, not on Nintendo and not made by Nintendo. The next one is 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. This got pretty expensive recently for some reason. I think this is because it's a licensed game. It came out on the 360 and the PS3, and I'm gonna say it's not that bad. It has some cool 50 Cent music. It has its own, like 18 exclusive new tracks. I guess they were released in other platforms. It's a ridiculous one. Like 50 Cent is this gangster, and you shoot stuff and whatnot. And he was a gangster in real life, so I guess there is some truth to it. But I would say this game is pretty good, and I'm not sure why it jumped in the price, but it's actually worth picking up. Something that's not necessarily worth picking up for everyone. This is 2010 FIFA World Cup South Africa. It's a sports game, I know. More like it's a 15-year-old sports game. But this one is pretty cool because it doesn't have the clubs, doesn't have anything like that. It's based on the FIFA game engine with some tweaks. But you can play as all the 199 national teams from around the world. With real players, mind you. So you can play with like the Indonesian or the Hungarian or the German national team. And they are all completely licensed, at least until the player names. So this one is cool. And you can play from the really deep qualifiers. I actually picked this up for like really cheap, like €1 or €2 maybe, and it was sealed. But I wanted to try the game, get the patches, and it used to be better because it had like certain patches with the, so you could play the World Cup in real time, but also they had like challenges and whatnot. But it's gone now, sadly. The next one is actually a really rare and expensive game. If you want the English version, this is Africa. This is a Japanese version, as you can see. I don't speak Japanese, but the game, I think, is like 80% playable in English. You can have the Google Lens or in Japanese, so it has some English in it. It's basically a photography game. It's like Pokemon Snap, but with animals, and you get in your Suzuki Jeep, Jeep is like his own thing. So you get in a Jeep and you use your Sony camera. So it's like a big advertisement for those companies. I can actually show you that they even sponsored this game with the Sony's camera. These are really cool digital cameras. So it's also a promotion for those stuff. But I think this is an actually mostly playable game. I don't really want to pick up English language copy because they are like crazy expensive right now, a couple $100 for that. But I was like, yeah, since I'm never gonna be able to afford, or I don't want to pay that much for a game, this is the only way to play this. It was cheap, so why not pick up a Japanese copy? And the next one is also a lesser known game. I think it's Afro Samurai. It has Samuel L. Jackson. He's the one who plays the main character. It's based on a manga. This is a really, really cool hack and slash game. It reminds me of something like Devil May Cry, but there is a bunch of exploration in there. There is some really cool music. So if you like these type of deals, it's pretty good. And I think this is also a pretty uncommon game. Not a lot of people are talking about it, but I think it's pretty cool. There was a sequel that was a huge failure. It was just awful, and they even removed like the first chapter of it from the stores. I only know about the sequel because it was one of the only incompatible games with the PS5 from the PS4. Next up is a crazy one. It's Akiba Strip, Undead and Undressed. So this is kind of like a sexy type of game. Since then, it came out on the Switch and other platforms as well. So it's not only on PlayStation anymore. It's an anime kind of game. It has a semi-open world in Akihabara, which is like the Electric City in Japan. So a bunch of shops and whatnot. The story is that there are vampires and they are hiding among normal people. So in order to defeat them, you have to basically undress them, rip off their clothes, and it doesn't get really that sexy, but actually the graphics are pretty good. It's a pretty funny one. It's kind of a niche game, but I think there is also I think one or two sequels at least. There's Akiba's Beat, that one, the second one, but it's a pretty cool game. Next up is another weird one. This is Alarm für Cobra Elf Undercover. So this is based on a German TV show. It's called exactly that. It has like a lot of car chases and explosions. It's basically about like the Autobahn police, is the highway police in Germany. And although the game is based on that, it's actually called Crash Time in other parts of the world because nobody knows what that is. But these are not really that great games in my opinion. There are some good moments, but these are usually like really low budget, not that good game. But it's still cool that they are making games like this. There are quite a few TV show based games on the PS3. We're gonna talk about those later. But the next one is Alice Madness Returns for the PS3. So I actually sold my copy. I had a copy like pretty much when I started collecting. And then I was like, oh, okay, I sell it to a friend. I can get it later. And then I had to wait like 8 years to pick it up again. And this is a sealed copy, mind you. It's a US copy also. I was browsing Vinted. I got really lucky. I picked it up for like $10 when actually the game is worth much, much more than that, even if it's a nice copy, so not like a sealed one. And it also comes with an online pass, which if you activate it, I think you can still activate the code. I think it's not expired, or it's a expired code. But I don't really have a reason to open this game because I also have it on the 360 digitally. So if I really want to play it, although I do want to play it on the PS3, so who knows. But yeah, this is a cool horror-based platformer. So there is an extra game, Alice, American Maggie's Alice. That's the original game, and it only came out like this in a bundle. So I bought the digital version on the 360. It was really cheap because I wanted to play the game. I couldn't get the physical copy. And then later it was like, but it's bundled with that, so it includes the other game as well. So it's a really fun game. So back in the day on the PlayStation 3, Sega actually released a bunch of Alien games, and the first one they released was Aliens vs Predator. This one made by Rebellion. It's more of a shooter, but you can choose from three. So you can be the alien, you can be a marine, you can be a predator, and you can have like single player campaign, multiplayer. It's pretty fun. It has 3 separate species. So that's pretty cool. This one is actually more like a okay game. It has its own problems. It's not as good as the classic one. And then there is Aliens Colonial Marines, which is the bad one, which is the one that people hate. You know, the AI is horrible. There was a bunch of problems with the game development. They did a lot of really interesting choices, and they basically marketed the game without any proof that the game is gonna be decent. They had like these CG promos, and then the game is nothing like this. So this is the bad one, but there is a good one, good Alien game on the PlayStation 3. This is Alien Isolation, and sadly this is the last Alien game as we know, although there are some good ones, but this is like the good one, and we are still waiting for a sequel to it. Creative Assembly made it, who are famous for the Total War games, but they just knocked it out of the park. This is really faithful to the original Alien movie, and I guess in that regard to Romulus, which is the newest one. So there is only one alien, they have to hide, you have to be careful about it, and it's kind of incredible in my opinion that it came out 11 years ago. So yeah, we are getting older. Next up is another horror game. It's Alone in the Dark Inferno. So this game originally came out on the PlayStation 2. And I played it. It's not really good. It's buggy. It gets stuck a bunch of times. And you know, the general consensus about that game was that it was not good. It was a huge failure for Atari and its creators, Eden Games. So a couple of years later, when the new consoles came out, they made basically remastered version of it, because it was originally called Alone in the Dark, and then Inferno is the ultimate version of the game, as it says. So like new camera control system, wow, action and cliffhangers, great stuff. And then they even say like they added chapter select, wow, so everyone can reach the game's climax, I guess. I don't know, they made it way too simple probably for the players, but I guess the game was so bad that they even needed some accessibility features. I think the new one, I did play the new reboot on the PS5. That's a pretty decent game, although after the game was released, that studio bit the dust and closed down. So I guess you can just never make a new and good Alone in the Dark game ever again. Another game from Sega. I think in the PlayStation 3 generation, Sega was really good. They released a ton of really good stuff. And Alpha Protocol, the espionage RPG, is one of those. Made by Obsidian, so, that's gonna be pretty high quality. You can, well, the screenshots are a bit weird, but yeah, you can basically do missions. There are different ways you can do that. It's all around the world. There are choices to make. It's just great stuff. And we are back again with Sega with Anarchy Reigns. So Anarchy Reigns was made by Sega and also Platinum Games. So it's gonna be good. This is like a hack and slash kind of shooter type of crazy deal. It reminds me of Borderlands, although I haven't really played it. I think it's more of like a game based around melee attacks, but also shooting. So it's different from Borderlands in that regard. Has a really similar design. I'd like to play it, hopefully soon. Another PlayStation 3 game that was too expensive for me to buy, so instead I bought the Japanese version. This is Equinox Holiday. So I don't know a lot about this game. I tried it, I played it a little bit. Basically, it's like an undersea exploration title. So you are diving or you are in this little like submarine and you explore. It's kind of like, what's the game on Nintendo? I'm not gonna remember it, but Nintendo has Endless Ocean. But Nintendo has that type of game, and this is similar to that. Is it good? I don't know. I think it was worth the price because it was pretty cheap for me. I wouldn't pay like hundreds of dollars for the English language version, although this game only released digitally in the West, but there is like a Chinese English version. It's kind of playable. It's not as playable as Africa, but I think it's still, especially you can use Google Lens now, so even with the cutscenes you can just translate it with that and see what the game is about. But it's pretty simple. It's just like undersea exploration. And then the next one is one of my most expensive PlayStation 3 games. It's Armored Core for Answer, published by Ubisoft, but of course Armored Core is a From Software franchise. So it's like big mechs and big robots, and you go and fight against each other, customize your robots. I think it's called something else in Europe, but I'm not sure. But yeah, these are difficult, although pretty fun games. And for today's final 3 games, it's Army of Two time. So Army of Two was EA's, well, interesting franchise. They are cooperative, even for local co-op, as you can see. Shooters, third-person shooters, I think. But these are really cool ones. The first 2 is classic. The third, I think they kind of messed it up and it's not really considered a good one. But the Army of Two franchise was pretty impressive, I think. It's kinda unique because not a lot of games nowadays do local and even online co-op like this anymore. And Army of Two was always known for this one. The second game, for some reason, is also on the PSP, and it's a pretty impressive port. So they have like these big budget games scaled down, and sadly there are no more Army of Core games. EA doesn't consider this franchise anymore, but maybe in the future they might re-release them, maybe make like a package with them, but I don't think so. And that's it. These are all the PlayStation 3 games I had for today. It's a big mix and a big mess of games. I guess this is what you get when you put your games in alphabetical order. I would recommend 3D Dot Game Heroes. That's a really good fun title. Alice Madness is also really good. But I think all of these games are good enough for you to try. And there is also a lot of hidden gems and some great titles for the PlayStation 3. So if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and like, and see you next time.